Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's class, we're going to be discussing the muscles of the upper arm. We're going to be focusing on the anterior compartment. But before moving to that, what are muscles? Muscles are soft tissues in the body that have the ability to contract and relax, thereby producing movement and force. But for today's class, we're going to be considering the anterior compartment alone. And from our knowledge of anatomical terminologies, anterior compartment means closer out to the front, right? And posterior is to the back. So these are the muscles of the anterior compartments of the arm. We have the biceps brachii, we have the coracobrachialis, and we have the brachialis. So once again, the muscles of the anterior compartments of the upper arm, they are the biceps brachii, the coracobrachialis, and the brachialis. And all these muscles, they are innervated by the musculocutaneous nerve, and they are supplied by the muscular branch of the brachial artery. So here is a diagram illustrating the muscles of the anterior compartment of your arm. And here we have the biceps brachii, the muscle in red. And from this diagram, it is obvious that it has two heads. So here is the biceps brachii, and this is the short head, while this is the long head of the biceps brachii. Also, we have the brachialis. The brachialis is painted blue. Here is the brachialis, and the muscle painted green is the coracobrachialis. So I'm going to be picking these muscles one after the other and explaining the origin and insertion. So the origin and insertion, the origin is the fixed part, while the insertion is where it inserts. So let's start with the biceps brachii. Now the biceps brachii has no attachment to the bone itself, but the long head and the short head, they both originate from different positions. Earlier we said that the biceps brachii has two heads, the long head and the short head. So the long head originates from the supraglenoid tubercle of the scapula. So this long head originates from the supraglenoid tubercle of the scapula, while the short head originates from the coracoid process of scapula. So the coracoid process of scapula is somewhere around there. So the short head originates from the coracoid process of the scapula. So where do they insert? The biceps brachii, where does it insert? It inserts at the radial tuberosity. So the radial tuberosity is somewhere around here. So it's safe to label this as the radial tuberosity. So what is the function of biceps brachii? It is the supination of the forearm. So in our class earlier, in anatomical terminology, we spoke about anatomical terms of movements, the flexion, the extension, the supination, and the pronation. So the function of biceps brachii is that it helps in supination of the forearm, and the innervation is by the musculocutaneous nerve. So it's safe to say that all the muscles of the anterior compartment of the forearm, of the upper arm rather, they are innervated by the musculocutaneous nerve, and their artery is the muscular branch of the brachial artery. So that being said, let us move straight to the second muscle, which is what? The coracobrachialis. So the coracobrachialis is this muscle. Let me use glasses test. This muscle here. This muscle labeled in green. That's the coracobrachialis. And where does it originate from? It originates from the coracoid process of the scapula. So that means that the short head of the biceps brachii and the coracobrachialis, they have the same origin, which is what? The coracoid process of scapula, which is this. And the insertion is the medial side of the humeral shaft. Now, if you've been following, you have a class on the bones of your upper limb, and we have the bones of your upper limb. One of it is the humerus. So the humerus is somewhere around there. So the humerus is around there. By saying that the coracobrachialis inserts in the medial side of the humeral shaft. So if this is the muscle, leave there, and the humerus is somewhat around there, we are saying that it inserts in the medial side of the humeral shaft. And what is the function? The function of the coracobrachialis is that it helps in flexion of arm as the shoulder. So it helps in the flexion of arm as the shoulder, and is also innervated by the musculocutaneous nerve. So, having discussed the biceps brachii and the coracobrachialis, let's move straight to the last muscle, which is what? The brachialis muscle. So the brachialis muscle lies deep to the biceps brachii and it is more distal. So in the terminology, when we say deep, we mean it is further away from the surface, right? So that means the brachialis muscle is much more deep to the biceps brachii and much more distal. So the origin is from the medial and the lateral surface of the humeral shafts. So let's do that once again. So if this is the brachialis muscle, and if this is the medial side of the humerus, it originates from the medial and lateral surface of the humeral shaft. So the brachialis originates from the medial and lateral surface of the humeral shaft and inserts in the ulnar tuberosity. It inserts in the ulnar tuberosity. And what is the function? It helps in flexion at the elbow. So the brachialis helps in flexion at the elbow. And the innervation also, just like the other, is by the musculocutaneous nerve. So one very clinical anatomy that you need to get yourself accustomed with when it comes to the muscles of the anterior compartment of your palm is what we call a Popeye sign. And the Popeye sign is a damage to the long head of biceps brachii. So if this muscle is being damaged, it can lead to what we call the Popeye sign. So that will be all for the muscles of the upper arm, the anterior compartments. So you have the biceps brachii, the coracobrachialis, and the brachialis, all innervated by the musculocutaneous nerve and supplied by the muscular branch of the brachial artery. So see you next class, and if you have any question, drop them in the comment section. Thank you so much.